Welcome, everybody. This is CTC Welcome Weeks, and today we have a virtual presentation called Financial Literacy. And we have Tina, our loan officer, who's going to provide some tips on financial aid and FAFSA scholarships and setting up a budget and other information to help you kind of save money while you're trying to pay for school. Also on board with us is Lee Greenthaner. She's doing streaming to Facebook, and Mariceli Santiago is our student life and activities coordinator. She's going to help monitor some questions. So if you have questions for Tina or either of us, just kind of type them in the chat and we'll get to those questions just as quick as we can when we have a break in the presentation. So without further ado, here is Tina, our loan officer.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Um, I want to welcome everyone, and I have today Angela Stewart, who's a financial advisor, and she's going to help also and provide us information regarding the FAFSA. So the loan office for myself and from the team of financial aid, we want to make sure we provide all the information necessary for in regards to any questions you may have regarding that FAFSA, loans, grants, and any other questions that you might have.
Okay, just let me know when you want me to put the PowerPoint up
We
there and I'll
can
do that.
we can start on the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. Right. And again, just let me know when you want me to change to the next slide and we'll do so.
Okay, I want to point out that it's very, very important that the students start submitting their FAFSA, and the FAFSA is the first step to completing the application for the pre-application for the federal student
Am I
aid.
going the wrong way?
um, I wanted to point out that that would be the first step. If students have not completed the FAFSA, they need to start for if they want the FAFSA for the fall of 2023, they need to start completing that 2023-2024 FAFSA using the income tax of 2021 year. And to do so, students will need to log in studentaid.gov, which is listed on our PowerPoint presentation. You can continue. So regarding the pre-application for federal student aid, um, the first thing, as I mentioned, will be to apply for that financial assistance and submit it on or after October 1st of every year. And completing the application, it's one of the most important steps in having financial assistance to pay for classes, tuitions, and any other charges that are necessary for students to complete their associate's degree or higher education certifications.
Okay, Tina, I think it's
Yeah.
probably important if you'll mention that highlighted portion about the tax information to use, because a lot of folks will think that they need to use the current year. So,
Yes, this one, if the students need the federal Pell Grant, the FAFSA for the fall of 2023, so they need to now start applying for to complete the FAFSA and submit it for the 23-24 year, 23-24 FAFSA to complete it. And as I mentioned before, use the income tax information from the year 2021. And that would be the first step. After they submit the application, within 3 to 5 business days, the financial aid office will notify the students by email whether we need more information, whether verification, whether they were approved or denied. I also have Angela who could assist us a little more and give us a little more information regarding the FAFSA. So I'm going to pass it on to Angela.
great.
Hello, nice to meet you all.
Welcome, Angela.
Thank you for having me. I was gonna kind of piggyback of what Tina had said. Also, when it comes to the 23-24 school year for the FAFSA being filled out, we're gonna be processing them around March. So that's a good time to know it. And the sooner the students do this, first, the likelihood of them getting the Pell Grant, everything taken care of, and things going through smoother for them is a lot better as well. Did you want me to go ahead and go over some stuff? Okay. I want to remember just some frequent questions that were asked by students because I think those are kind of important. One of them is about disbursement. I know it's very vital to some students because disbursements, it might be on an income or, some kind of situation that they need that taken care of. So the sooner the better for that. When it comes to disbursement, that will be 10 days prior to the start date of class. We will get it here at financial aid. It will disperse that to the business office. And then they will take care of the tuition and the fees. And around 30 days after that they do that, or the start date of the class, the balance will be dispersed to the students. That's kind of one of the most frequently asked questions for them. Let's see what else. And a lot of students want to know why they're considered dependent. So according to the Department of Education guidelines, anything 24 and under is still considered a dependent, unless you are active duty. I believe you provide income for a child or you're married. So that means we'll need your parents' tax returns and not yours, most likely, unless you're independent. Let's see what else I have here. Actually, I did want to go over the process of submitting the FAFSA, and I think Tina already touched bases on some of that. Just to start with, first of all, the students need to go to the studentaid.gov. Okay, and it's actually on our little brochure as well. So I kind of went off of this as well. They will create an account, and some of this information, if they're a dependent, will rely on the parents. So it'll be their parents' tax information. They'll have to create an account as well. You need to fill out the FAFSA for the academic year that you're planning to attend. So it's the 22-23. You make sure that you've done that for the 22-23 school year. And then so forth with the 23-24. You have to fill it out to get financial aid for that year. Let's see what else here. We also, a lot of mistakes are with the FAFSA is the school code, because you can't receive financial aid at 2 different institutions. And so that is often a problem with FAFSA, why it doesn't go through and why we don't receive it, is the school code is incorrect. So if it's a student with a prior school, if they have that school code in there, we won't receive it here. And then we always encourage them to keep an eye on their Eagle Self-Serve under financial aid for any updates with awards, where there might be a document that they're missing that we need to update, and that could interfere with their disbursement dates as well.
Okay, let me go back a second. What is our school code? I know it's on your
I'm sorry.
Financial Aid Insider, but I just want you to kind of relay
No, that's
it.
fine. It's 004003.
So if you'll look at the screen at the bottom of the PowerPoint where I put the arrow, you can see this CTC school code that you need for
Okay.
FAFSA.
Okay. Yeah, that's very important. So, can we head it back off? I don't think there's too much more that I was going to go over with here, just the kind of the common last questions. But I'll give you guys back to Tina.
All right. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Yes, thank you, Bruce. Next, what we did is we put together a financial aid insider, and this summarizes everything as far as the deadlines, any how to complete the FAFSA, any the loans, any information regarding the interest rate, the work study, and this is you can find the insider if you go to student and financial aid resources and then click, there will be a link for this useful information that the students can look at and glance through it to see any anything that they need for financial aid. You can, yeah, we can go to the next one. Regarding the FAFSA, it's very, very important that you complete to complete it, even if you don't believe that you're eligible. And submitting the FAFSA is one of the most important steps, because once they determine whether the student qualifies or if it's denied or they need more verifications, that will give them the opportunity to be packaged for their federal Pell Grant, any loans that they might qualify for. So you never know. So it's that's why I highly encourage all the students to complete their FAFSA. We can go to the next one. Okay. Yes. I like to advise students that, to be aware and consider all the cost. Attending college could be a little costly, a little pricey. So reviewing the cost of attendance and consider whether it's direct tuition or indirect tuition. If it's an in-state versus an out-of-state, what are the required charges, what are the fees, and everything adds up. And it's very important to consider, whether you're going to live on campus, off campus, what are the cost of the books, classes, and to consider that. The following slide also talks about a really interesting website called texasrealtycheck.com. And I always like to point this out because this is very helpful to look at and calculate some of the estimates of the lifestyle expenses. For example, if a student does decide that they want to move to San Antonio or Waco or some other area in Texas, that the living of cost of living, it varies. So the apartments, any looking for an apartment, looking for schools, the cost is it's a little different, and this will give a better understanding of how much it's going to be to afford, um, living in another city, and it gives a really good calculation of the lifestyle expenses. Yeah, the next one.
Well, see if there we go.
Okay, there. Creating a budget. So for the students, I like to give them more information. So I went into studentaid.gov, and there's a portion in there for being able to manage your money, budget, savings, and I just wrote down some links as to how to track your budget and expenses, and how to create an emergency fund, something to think about while you're in school. You can invest money, you can save money, you can um, make sure you are considering what credit cards you have. So this WebEx, it's also about financial literacy, not just necessarily the FAFSA, not necessarily any specifics, but in general, we wanted kind of we want to give information of the general scope of financial aid and how to manage your money. And so this interesting website, for example, if you go to mymoney.gov, it indicates some very good tips as far as how to manage your money. Okay, the next one, I did pull up some information too about credit cards. And this one, it's a good question to always ask ourselves is how many credit cards do I have? What is the interest rate? And always keep an open mind as far as what expenses and how I can reduce some of those expenses. How can I save more money? Um, and there's also financial advisors. We're here at the office to assist in providing information, or welcome to go to studentaid.gov, and there's videos, there's links of information. So there's all sorts of resources for students that they can take advantage of.
One thing I want to point out from a personal history is that when you get your credit card bill and it says the minimum amount due is such and such, and it's a very small amount, yeah, I can handle that, I can do that. But if you just pay that minimum amount every month, you are going to draw out that debt longer and longer and longer because the interest rate
Right.
is going to keep accumulating. And so you will never get out of that debt. So keep that in mind if you're just paying the minimum amount every time. You should probably think about trying to pay more than the minimum amount so you can kind of get rid of that debt a lot quicker. So
Yes, thank you for sharing, Bruce. Yes, the interest rate does accumulate over time, and you're not going to be paying the same thing when you started off with a debt. The interest rate is going to accumulate, and you're going to end up paying a lot more for that.
Yeah, and just personal note.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. Next, we have the slide where students, have to do their research. They have to do their homework on their own and find out what federal aid is available, what state and institutional aid is available. We do provide some information here, our financial aid office. We do give students information about scholarships and any grants, work study. And later down, I have a couple other slides that do point out more about the work study programs and the scholarships. So we can go over that as well. Okay. Regarding the loans, I wanted to touch base on the loans that when students do get the loans that I like to emphasize that they will pay the interest. It's a loan that you do have to pay back. Some of the eligibilities in obtaining a loan, it's based on the expected family contribution from the FAFSA, depending on the cost of attendance. And I like to advise the students that if they really need it, if that's if they really need a loan to get it, otherwise just try to find scholarships, try to find grants. There's a lot of organizations, there's a lot of places that do offer scholarships that do not have to be paid back. But if the students do decide to get a loan, I like to emphasize that they will be paying the interest rate at the end when they have to pay back the loan.
So if I'm hearing you right, Tina, you're telling students to use student loans as a last resort simply because you have to
Exactly.
pay that back, whereas a grant or a scholarship you do not have to pay back.
Yes, if it's possible, let it be your last resource, the student loans. If not, I'm here to help out with any questions regarding the loans. But if all possible, try to apply for the FAFSA, try to get scholarships that are offered by the community, by the schools, and there's in the library, there's lots of source of books and information where students can apply for scholarships.
Right. Let's see what we got here.
I think it's there we go.
That's
Uh,
okay.
some of the steps, I'll go over some of the steps of obtaining a loan, and one of them, it's the one of the requirements is the student has to complete an entrance counseling and a master promissory note. Those documents are a federal requirement, and students can find those at studentaid.gov, studentaid.gov, and they need to be completed in order for the loans to be dispersed. Also, the origination fee and the interest rate. If students have any questions regarding the current interest rate, regarding any of the originations fees, I can go over that with students depending on which loan, whether they're going to obtain the direct unsubsidized or direct subsidized. I can go over with the students regarding each particular different situations and let them know what is their origination fee and explain in details explain in details to everyone as far as the loans. Next, it gives next is listed the loan entrance loan counseling, the website. As I mentioned, studentaid.gov will provide you that information. Yes, the master promissory note is also it's also in studentaid.gov, and students can click the link and complete that document, which is an obligation to pay back their it's a very thorough document that students have to go over, and it's a responsibility, it's an obligation that students commit to in order to when they do decide that they want to obtain a loan. The annual student acknowledgement is another document required that students have to complete at studentaid.gov. After completing the loan steps, the students have to be registered within 6 credit hours. So I'll go over a little bit more on this, as we do get a lot of questions regarding students asking why didn't my loans dispersed. I've registered for my classes and I don't see any funds in my Eagle self-service account. So when I have those questions, I review the student's account and I go over their classes. So I check their transcript and I go over their classes for that specific term. And I notice that a class might be 3 credit hours, and then that class starts probably now, and then they have another class starting in next month. And I point out that both classes have to start with the same time, and they both have to add up to 6 credit hours. Otherwise, the loan will not disperse. And um, sometimes, they they might have to go back to their academic advisor and get that taken care of. So 2 classes, they have to start within the same time and add up with at 6 credit hours, as is one of the federal requirements.
So if we're taking a 16-week course for 3 credit hours, and then we sign up and we signed up for a class that's like a 5-week course, and they have the different start dates, that's the difference why the loan did not disperse. Is that correct?
Right. The loan will disperse when it hits 6 credit hours. And make sure it's towards their degree of study. If it's not towards their degree of study, the loan will not release.
It's good to know. So a lot of students don't realize
Joanna,
that.
you
So
want to add something?
that's a good point to follow.
I
So
can I can pass Angela. She wants to add a little. She wants to add more to this.
okay.
It kind of goes along with the financial aid aspect. There's 2 areas that you'll get financial aid, and your courses have to be within your degree program, which I like to point out to students because that can be a situation with it not being dispersed as well. And they also have to fall within the term dates. So if it's January 1st to May 14th, they have to fall within that also.
Correct. So in other words, if you sign up for a class that starts, example, January 1st, and then it's going to end, and then you take another course that's going to start February 1st, but it's not going to end till like June 1st, that won't qualify. Is
It
that
won't
correct?
cover. Yes,
All right.
correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
It's and if that happens, then they have to go back to academic advising. And it could be a whole nother issue. Maybe they might have to withdraw, and we don't want that either. Because that
Okay.
affects their cumulative rate and also, well, not their GPA, but their cumulative rate.
Okay. So
And that
students
could
keep
lead
that
to,
in mind. You've got to take classes that within your degree plan and also have the same the start and stop dates within the same term period. So
yes,
so keep that in mind when you're filling out your information there. So
very
okay.
important.
All right, let's
Okay.
move it on.
Okay. Yes. Um, and the next slide is basically stating that the federal loans become payable 6 months after the student drops below half-time, it withdraws, or graduates. At this point, the student has to start making payments. They would have to contact their loan servicer and make arrangements for any payments, find out where they stand as far as the interest rate that they're being charged for. Any questions they might have regarding their loans, they would have to contact a loan servicer that it's assigned to them. If a student does not know who their loan servicer is, they can always log into studentaid.gov. They will be able to find their loan servicer there as well.
Yeah. Can you explain what halftime means?
Half-time means within 6 credit hours. If the student has only one class and it's 3 credit hours, they're under half-time. Half-time is 2 classes.
Okay, got it, got it. So it's not, it's a credit hour thing.
Yeah, credit hours.
Okay, good, thank you.
Mhm. Yes. In regards to the disbursement amount, now for a student that is dependent, they can obtain for a subsidized loan from 5,500 to 3,500. Whereas if the student is independent, it's a little higher. They can obtain up to 9,500 to minimum 3,500 for the first year when they start as a freshman. The second year, a dependent student might be able to get 6,500 for the subsidized, whereas an independent student for the second year, they can get up to 10,500 and no more than 10,500. Minimum is 4,500. So this figure kind of demonstrate as far as what they qualify for, whether they're freshmen, sophomore year, in as far as whether they're going to obtain the direct subsidized or unsubsidized loan, and there's also the option for the Parent Plus loan too. It's okay. This slide basically goes over the loan fees. I guess we can click on it and it'll give us the current information as to where are the loans fees at the moment.
Nice little dice roll there.
Okay, so yes, on or after October 1st, 2022 and before October 1st of 2023, the loan fee is 1.057%. And as far as the loan for the Parent Plus loan, that would be 4.288%.
I was waiting for the dice roll again.
Okay, let's see. Now, as far as the explanation, I want to explain to the students, the difference between the subsidized loan and the unsubsidized loan. So basically, for the direct subsidized loan, these are the loans made eligible to undergraduate students who demonstrate financial need. And this helps to cover, higher education, college, expenses, charges, and one of the most important things to realize is that the interest rate is paid while you're in college. It's paid by the federal government, whereas the direct unsubsidized is also made eligible for undergraduates, for professional students. But this one, it's not based on financial need, and this one, the student is responsible for paying the interest rate as soon as they accept the loan. It starts accruing, the interest rate will start adding up for the unsubsidized loan. And this slide just gives me the interest rate, the fixed rate for direct subsidized and unsubsidized. Right now it's 4.99%. That's for undergraduate students. And as far as the graduate or professionals, it's 6.54%. For the Parent Plus loan, it's 7.54%.
Pretty steep.
Yes, it's a little high, yeah. And these are some forms that we used in our financial aid office. For example, the loan acknowledgement and physician certifications, we do get those forms. The loan adjustment, if a student is interested in canceling and reinstating, revising an amount, and the student's not able to do it on their self-service account, we can provide the form, have them do it paper in writing, and we can process the form once it's completed and signed by the student. We do have the option for the summer loan request and the other document, discharges, default letters, any letters from the Department of Education. Another document that we do provide is the entrance and exit counseling handbook. So students are aware of the process of the entrance and exit counseling. Okay, exit counseling, perfect. So I wanted to touch a little bit about the exit counseling, as I do get a lot of calls. Students that have been placed on a hold on their account could be due to a couple reasons. Either they're graduating, they drop below half time, they're not meeting the academic standards, their GPA is lower than 2.0. As this slide mentions, students that drop below half time, they're placed in this exit counseling. So a hold is placed on their file and they have to complete an exit counseling. For that, the students would have to go to studentaid.gov, complete the exit counseling. Once it's completed, they can notify me, I will be able to verify that they in fact did complete that, verify some other documents, and then I will be able to remove the hold from their student account. Okay, the next slide, it's about work study. So Central Texas College, that's provides that great opportunity for students to work, and at the same time they can gain experience. We do have it's this work study, you know, students can have part-time employment, could be on campus, off campus, um, and its eligibility is determined based on the expected family contribution. It will, you know, they're able to gain knowledge. We do have a student here who it's a work study, and she does an amazing job, and she's not only getting paid, but she's also gaining experience within the financial aid office. So I think it's a great opportunity to check into the work study program that CTC offers. And if anyone is interested, just go simply to eTrieve content. You'll see the form, apply through eTrieve, and follow up with the financial aid office, and just follow the process.
Maricela, if you could possibly put Brandy Sappenfield's contact info in the chat.
Thank you.
She is the coordinator of the work study program, and she would be a good source to apply. And if I understand correctly, the work study, if you have a work study job, the job works around your school hours. Whereas
Yes.
opposed if you had a job somewhere else, they might not be willing to work around your hours and say you're going to work these hours and nothing else, and you might have be forced to drop your class. Where here at CTC with the work study, you can kind of work around your classes.
Yes, that's one of the advantages. Yes.
Good deal. All right, moving on.
Did you wanted to add? I'm sorry, Bruce. Angela wanted to add something.
Oh, sure, sure.
Sorry. I was also going to mention about the work study program. It is amazing program. I actually like it. There's a little more areas they have to fall under. They have to have the FAFSA in, of course, which most students do already. They also have to be making academic standards. So they can't be on on a suspension program.
Okay,
And the
that's good to
suspension
know.
will be go by, you know, the cumulative credits. They have to be above the 67%. And they also have to be above the 2 point and above also.
Okay.
So
All right.
just a little bit added to the work study.
Sounds good. That's good to know because so students will know what they're applying for. When they do apply, they'll know what they're getting themselves in, setting themselves up.
Yes. And how
Yeah.
to stay within the program. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Angela. Let's see. The next slide, it's regarding Title IV funding, and two of the requirements for Title IV funding, the courses must be required in your degree of study. Otherwise, Title IV will not count that course if it's not under the degree plan. Also, the course must begin and end within the term. The same thing with the loan. The loan, some of reminders is that students have to be enrolled in a minimum of 6 credit hours. Their master promissory note has to be completed checked off in their file in their student account. The entrance counseling has to be completed. If it's not completed, they would have to go to studentaid.gov and complete those documents. Otherwise, the loan will not be transmitted. There we go. Okay, yes. So we have CTC has this great opportunity, this scholarship that started November 1st and it runs all the way through February the 28th. So the Central Texas Scholarship Foundation has the scholarship that it's available for the use at CTC at Central Texas College only. And I do have some more information on the next slide as far as the requirements, but just to give you a brief information, students can visit ctcd.awardspring.com as is listed on the slide. And this scholarship would be for the fall of 23 and um, and also spring of 24. Yeah, and that's just, I just wanted to add that to that. It's some of the requirements for that scholarship that I just mentioned. And it's very important that the students follow every step and make sure when the scholarship is completed, just to write NA if it's not applicable, but make sure you student fills it out completely in order to be when it's ready to be submitted. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. It's very small to see.
Yeah, I'm hitting the forward button, but it's not moving, so it must be stuck here. Okay, we are stuck here.
It's coming, it's coming.
Okay. All right, and one thing I would like to add about these scholarships while we're waiting here is that there are need-based scholarships and there are academic-based scholarships. So there are something for everyone. And when you fill out the application, it automatically qualifies you for every single scholarship that you are eligible for. So you don't have to fill out a separate application for multiple scholarship opportunities. So you just need to fill out one application. I'm
Also,
going
Bruce,
to,
you reminded me to also point out that, if once the student is granted or is qualified for that particular scholarships, I believe whatever is remaining after they bought, their books, tuitions, charges, I believe what is remaining, it will go back to some of these institutions, as you mentioned, that I believe the remaining balance will go back to the institution if it's not being used.
yeah,
And I think they can use it for the following years.
there you go. Oh, well, my computer is completely frozen right now, so that's why we're not.
It's okay. My other
I'm gonna,
slides
okay, I'm
were,
gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna go back to sharing and see if I can't get it to work again here.
that's
So
okay.
bear with me and see if this will do the trick here.
Yes,
Here we
the
go.
other
Here we
slides,
go.
here we go, there it is, the deadlines. So we do have deadlines for the FAFSA. We do have deadlines for the loans. And some of the deadlines that students have to keep in mind for the FAFSA, we do have the one for the fall, which it's coming up in June 1st. That the deadline for the spring FAFSA will be October 1st, and the one for the summer, it's April 1st. Then the deadlines for the loans for the fall, it's October the 30th. For March is for April, I'm sorry, spring it's March the 30th, and for the summer it's June the 30th. So I do get a lot of calls from students not being aware of the loan deadlines, and if a student does not accept or decline or doesn't take action when a loan is pending on their student account, the system will automatically deny the loans by March 30th if the student does not take the initiative to accept a loan. And it's very important to consider the deadlines. So the system would automatically deny it if it's not accepted by the 30th or by one of these deadlines. And my slide is just basically giving information. What are some trusted resources students can check into? Of course, we do have our homepage, and it has a vast of information. You can find everything on the CTC homepage. Most of my slide was pretty much generated from the CTC homepage. As you can see, the CTC Financial Aid website, complete the FAFSA on studentaid.gov, as I mentioned it. Our email, financial.aid.ctc.edu. You can contact us through that email. My contact information, my phone number 254-616-3313. My email vsanchez-urieta@ctc.edu. You can contact me if you have any questions regarding the loans. I'll be more than happy to assist you. And I also have that our office, our building is 215, and we're open Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 5:30. I'm sorry, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5:30, and then Fridays we do close a little early. Fridays it's 7:30 to 11:30. Our phone number is listed, 254-526-1508. Our email, as I mentioned, financial.aid.ctcd.edu, and we are here to help every student, all the students with any questions they might have.
All right, I'm gonna stop sharing and
Mhm.
just real briefly, I'm gonna share the website just to show students where
Sure.
they can access the, well, let me, hang on a second, let me minimize and get out of my mess here and get rid of the PowerPoint, and that way they can see exactly where we need to go. Okay, share. This is the CTC webpage, and if you go to students, right underneath students is financial aid. You click on financial aid, and that will take you to the site that Tina was talking about. So there you go. And I'm going to stop
Perfect.
sharing. I just wanted to make sure students have an awareness of our website and how to get there. So
Perfect. Thank you. So, Bruce, any questions that are, I'm here to answer any questions if there's any at the moment.
Lee, did you have any come through Facebook? Marisol
No.
shaking her head, no, no, and Lee saying no. So we have none in the chat. So we have no questions. So I guess the main thing is just drive home the point again that loans should be a last resort. You should probably
Yes.
seek scholarships, Pell Grant opportunities before you seek a loan, because again, the loan is something students have to pay back, whereas a
Right.
grant or scholarship you do not have to pay back. And
Right.
if you don't want to start out in debt once you graduate, that would be the way to go. So then Tina, I would just ask if you would give any last words of advice for our students.
My words of advice would be: do not procrastinate. Complete the FAFSA as soon as you can. Complete the documentation, and uh, you will see the results. The effort you put into your school, you'll see the results. Keep your grades, academic, satisfying academic progress. And my advice is just to students to motivate them. You know, this is your associate's degree. You probably go to a 4-year university, so everything matters. Your grades will reflect on your next an institution. Keep up your GPA for students, and I'm just here to motivate and help students as much as I can. So if there's anything I can do for anyone, just feel free to call me or email me, and I'm here for the students.
Sounds good. And Tina, if you'll
Yeah.
pass the headset to Angela, so we'll get her last words of advice. And while we're doing that, I would just encourage students, as one of the slides said, is you don't know unless you try. So even if you think you're not eligible for any kind of money, fill out the FAFSA anyway. You may surprise yourself and you may be eligible for some money, which will certainly keep more money in your pocket and help you pay for school. So Angela, what tips would you have?
I think you hit on a good key, and I think you don't know till you try when it
Yeah,
comes to FAFSA. It's because some people will walk away from it and not doing it. And I'm an example of it because I didn't do it when I went through college. I had the GI Bill and I had the Yellow Ribbon Project, so I financially didn't need it. But I also had a son, so I don't know what I could have gotten. So I'm
right.
kind of a product of that issue.
Right. So again, you don't know unless you try. So don't
Exactly.
think that you're ever out of the ball game, because you could be right there. Mariceli, would you have any shared tips? I mean, from your experience in dealing with students?
From my experiences, definitely try and communicate. Sometimes it's a little bit hard. Remember that um, I would say our financial aid office is constantly working really, really hard, and they're worldwide. So be a little bit patient with them, but always make sure that you're reading your communications from them. Check your emails, make sure that you see what they're trying to send you. And then if you have any questions, to then contact them, because I know I have a lot of people that are like, oh, I didn't know. I don't know what's going on. It's like, have you checked your email? Oh, well, let me see. And then, oh, well, there's something here. What does this mean? Okay, well, let's figure out what they're trying to tell you. So I'm going to, I am gonna say definitely communicate with the students, make sure that they know what's going on with the financial aid office. If you have questions, just be patient.
Also, Marcel, I wanted to add that to please update your information on Eagle Self Service. A phone, if you have a new telephone number, If your address has changed, go ahead and update that so we can communicate effectively. And also to advise students that if they do get their financial aid and any funds remaining, if they want those funds to be sent to their bank account, they will need to add a bank account, direct bank account to their Eagle Self-Service. Otherwise, whatever funds are remaining, it will be sent out to their address provided on Eagle Self-Service. So it's always advisable to add a direct bank account.
And also stay abreast of the deadlines. You do not want to miss the
Yeah.
deadline. So please stay abreast of all the FAFSA deadlines and scholarship deadlines that are out there. So again, you don't want to be a day too late. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tina, Angela, thank you guys so much for sharing this financial literacy workshop with our students today. We appreciate it. And for those students who might want to review some of this information, we'll have it available on YouTube a little bit later. And so you can always go back, check, review, and catch anything you might have missed. And then again, if even looking at the review of that, if it sparks questions, you can always contact Tina and Angela. financial.aid@ctcd.edu would be the email address to contact them or contact the financial aid office. And if Tina, if you'd share the phone number once again.
Sure. My direct line number, it's 254-616-3313. And my email is vsanchez-urieta@ctcd.edu.
Great. And Parita, we appreciate you being here. Did you have any questions as a student who's here? Anything we got? She says no. Okay, well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you. And again, you can review all this on YouTube at a little bit later on this afternoon or tomorrow at the very latest. So, okay. Again, so thank you all so much for being a part of this financial literacy workshop. We hope you're having a great semester, even though it's early. Take advantage of all the Welcome Weeks activities, virtual and in person, and be on the lookout for more of these sessions. So, okay. Thank you all so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great rest of the day. Take care.
Thank you.